Welcome to Math with Chapter 1, Lesson 5, Part 2, where we are looking at calculating with decimals. So in Part 1, we looked at adding and subtracting decimals. And in Part 2, we are going to be looking at multiplying and dividing decimals. So you can multiply decimals by removing the point. The first thing I want you to do is clear your mind, because multiplying, the process of multiplying decimals and the process for dividing decimals, they are different, right? So don't try to apply the process for multiplication to the process for division. That's the first thing, because there are two different ways we have to manipulate the point, right? So multiplying, we remove the point altogether, right? And we complete the multiplication as normal. And then we can put back the point into the answer by adding the total number of places or digits after the point in both numbers. And that would be the number of places or digits after the point in the answer. So this is best worked out by an example. So let's look at example 8. Now, example 8 asks us to work out 6.12 multiplied by 3.4. If we didn't have a decimal here, this question would read 612 multiplied by 3.4. Right, it would read 612 multiplied by 34, right? That's like, we just remove the point. So that's what we're going to multiply 612 by 34. So we have a double digit multiplication here. So let's multiply by the tens. Because I'm multiplying by the tens, I'm going to put a 0 here because we're skipping out the ones to multiply by tens. So there must be a 0 here. So 2 by 3, that's 6. 1 by 3, that's 3. 6 by 3, that's 18. Right? Now I'm going to multiply by the ones. I don't need to put the 0 because I'm multiplying by the single digits right here. So 4 twos are 8. 1 4 is 4. 6 fours are 24. And now I add them together. 0 plus 8, that gives me 8. 6 and 4, that gives me 10. So I put the 0 and add 1 to the next column. So 3 plus 1 is 4, plus 4 is 8. 8 plus 2, that's another 10. So I take the 0 and I add the 1 to the next column. 1 plus 1 is 2. So I get 20,808. That's without any points. Now I have to put back the point. Oh, where do I put it? Do I put it here, before the 8, before the 0? Where do I put this point? Now I look to see how many digits after the point I have in my question. So in the 6.12, I have 2 digits after the point. And in the 3.4, I have 1 digit. So I have 2 digits here, and I have 1 digit here. And I add them. So I have 3 digits after the point in my question. 2 here, 2 plus 1 is 3, right? So I have 2 here, 1 here. So I have 3 digits after the point altogether in my question. Therefore, I must have 3 digits after the point in my answer. And I could get that by counting 1, 2, 3. I put the point here, and I have this 8, this 0, and this 8, 3 digits after the point in my answer, right? What about division? How do we perform division? So you can divide decimals by eliminating the point. So this is a little bit different from the multiplication. Remember, I told you it's two different processes, right? So you can divide decimals by eliminating the point. The number of places you move the point to the right in one number is the same amount of places you move to the right in the other. Now, the most important thing to remember is that you have to eliminate the point in your denominator or the divisor. What you're dividing by, that point has to go because we cannot divide with that point there. It's going to confuse us. So we're going to eliminate the point in the divisor, and let's see how that is done, right? So let's go back to our example. So example 9 says, calculate 6.88 over 1.66. Now, remember, this venculum, that's line in your fraction, that means to divide. So in other words, this question is saying divide 6.88 by 1.6, right? So you remember that from fractions, that venculum means to divide. As I said, the denominator or divisor, that's what we want to get rid of the point on because we can't divide. We have to divide by a whole number. So we have to move this point to the right once to eliminate the point. Therefore, we should move it once in the numerator to eliminate the point there. So, same thing across here. We move it once, well, the divisor, that's what we're looking at to get a whole number. So we move it once to get, to make sure that we are dividing by the same thing. So we won't change what we are dividing by. So keep that consistent, right? So our new sum is 68.8 divided by 16. And we could do that by long division. We know when we are dividing, the process is divide, multiply, subtract, bring down. So we're dividing 68.8 by 16. So how many groups of 16 can you get from 6? 6 divided by 16. You can't get any groups of 16 from 6, so that's 0. So let's go on to the next one. 68. How many groups of 16 can we get from 68? Well, let's see. 16 by 3. I'm going to try 3. 6 threes are 18. 1 3 is 3 and 1 is 4. 48. All right. Let's try 4. 16 by 4. 6 fours are 24. 1 4 is 4. And 2 is 6. Well, I feel it's 4, but let's just try 5 for good measure. 6 fives are 30. 1 5 is 5, and 3 is 8. So that's over. So I need 80 things to have 5 groups of 16. But I only have 68 things. So therefore, I can only get 4 groups. So that's the closest one without going over. So I could only get 4 groups of 16 from 68. So the answer is 4. 68 divided by 16 is 4. Now we multiply. 4 by 16 is, and we did that here, 64. Now we subtract. 68 minus 64, that gives us 4. And now we bring down. We bring down this 8. But we have this point here. So I must line up my points when I am doing my division, right? So I line up my points. So we have that lined up and good. Now we have 48. What is 48 divided by 16? Because when we bring down, we start again. So what's 48 divided by 16? Well, we kind of worked it out already. 16 by 3 gives us 48. So we know that 48 divided by 6, we can get 3 perfect groups of 16 from 48 things. So let's multiply 3 by 16. That gives us 48. And we are left with no remainder. And we have nothing to bring down. So that is the end of our sum. So in other words, 6.88 divided by 1.6 is equal, and look at the answer right on top here, 4.3 is equal to 4. And that's how we can calculate decimals by multiplying and dividing decimals.